Purple Cow made the argument that the TV model of I make average stuff for average people, but promote it a lot, or I have a good location, or my hours are convenient, is broken. And it's broken because there's too many choices. There are too many average things to choose from. The alternative is to make something worth talking about, to make something remarkable, because ideas that spread win. And if everyone knows why your furniture store is better, if everyone knows why your services are more efficient, then you win. So the only job you have is to spread the word. The question then is, will you choose to spread the word? I followed that up with a book called Free Prize Inside that was more about how you do that, how you go to the edges and create innovative, remarkable options. After that, I switched gears and talked in Meatball Sunday about how the internet works and why most businesses misunderstand it.
Why?
Well, they misunderstand it because they think it's like TV. They think that the job of the internet is to be like it used to be, but for free. And if you view your website or your banner ads or your YouTube videos or your Twitter account like more chances to yell at more people, you will fail. That in fact, what the internet is about is connecting people to one another. That's why it's called the internet. And these connections mean that if your restaurant treats one person poorly, they're going to go tell 10,000 people. They mean that if you can connect your customers to one another, you will create circles of people who can make a change. It means that no one types in your website address to find you. They type it into Google, and if Google doesn't recognize you, you're invisible. So there's all these other shifts that we have to think about. We have to change our business before we wonder about how to get it out there. And that revolution is what's going on right now.
We have to change our business. How? In what direction? Why?
For 100 years, businesses, North America, Latin America, South America, have been about one thing. How do you make an efficient factory to make stuff? Mm-hmm. If you have a coal mine, how do you get the coal out of the dirt as cheap as possible? If you're an insurance company, how do you make writing policies as cheap as possible? That mindset, drill it in, is very imperialist, and it's very old school, and in fact, it worked for a really long time. But then we caught up with ourselves. Now we can't make it any cheaper. We can't make it any faster. We're not going to win because our stuff's more average. That we have to change our business and say, no, what we make are things that are more interesting, not things that are more average. So if I pick a couple industries, if I look at the computer business, Dell Computer, boring, average, cheaper. Apple Computer, the most profitable, valuable tech company in North America. What's the difference? The difference is Apple doesn't worry about making it cheaper. They don't worry about their employees fitting in. They worry about innovating, and they worry about going to the edges. That's a different business to be in. That if you run a shoe store and all you do is sell typical shoes to typical people at a fair price, the minute I can get it cheaper, I'm going to leave. But if you're doing something innovative, there's a furniture store in Boston, for example, that has a roller coaster in the store and a whole special area for husbands.
Roller coaster.
Yes, and a whole special area for husbands and a giant screen. So on the Super Bowl day, for the big football game, it's filled with all the husbands watching the best screen in town while all their wives are out there shopping. Do they sell furniture? Well, furniture is what their business is, but that's not necessarily what they think of themselves as doing. I'll give you one more example.
Yes.
Every day for more than 5.5 years, I've worn the same idea in socks. And I don't know, sir, if you can get to my socks here, but there's a company that makes socks that don't match. Yes. They make them for 12-year-old girls. It's called Little Mismatch. When I first wrote about them, Little Mismatch had $1 million in sales. The mindset of a sock manufacturer is, how do we get stores to carry our socks? How do we charge a little bit more? How do we make them a little bit cheaper? How do we make them average? Little Mismatch socks don't match. They come in 133 styles, and none of them match. And they're for 12-year-old girls. But not all 12-year-old girls, just some. Which 12-year-old girls?
Which?
Girls that have a fashion problem. Girls that don't have enough to talk about during lunch or recess. They can't afford a new outfit every day, but they can wear these socks. And one girl says to another, want to see my socks? And that is their entire marketing strategy. Want to see my socks? Because then that 12-year-old girl goes home and says to her mom, I need new socks. So you want to know how much they did last year?
How much?
$40 million. In 5 years, they grew to $40 million. How did they do that? The socks are ordinary, but the story is extraordinary. So if you said to them, what do you do for a living? They wouldn't say, we make socks. They would say, we tell stories.